This
It's
is
fun
for,
to do it with the
yeah.
kids too.
This is for myself, for you all, and for everybody, right?
Yeah. Okay.
I started learning, getting reintroduced to artificial intelligence after many years because my college interns wanted to do it.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you guys want to do? And they said, well, we want to learn about reinforcement learning, and here's why. And that's how that began.
Wow.
But I love following the topic. It's great.
I'm finding it like people want to speak Spanish, but
Yeah.
remember I can immerse and still work here.
Yeah, yeah.
And I also sensory integration, and I work
Yeah.
in middle school, and
Right.
as I get older, that gets harder.
Sure, I'll bet.
So I'm trying to like,
The middle schoolers get to older and move on.
they get
You're not trapped in middle school forever.
the SCOBY in there.
Huh?
A SCOBY in my kombucha.
Oh,
It's
I don't even know what that is.
bacteria that
Oh, okay.
it grows from. Yeah, but it's gross when you get it in your mouth. It's like,
Oh, okay. I had 3 children, and now 2 are in college, and 1 is 15.
okay.
So
Mine are adults.
we're almost back to being able to just roam around. Yeah.
Mine are 20, almost 27.
Wow, really? Wow.
I'm 52.
I'm 55. I'll be 56 in soon, January.
You waited longer to have.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was just delayed. Although Danny, who's my wife and may be here, is a little bit younger. She's 50.
Just bump it up a tiny bit.
She's 50. Yeah.
Well, I'm enjoying learning, but I tried to do it on my own because every time I got stuck, there was nobody to like bounce it. I'm a verbal processor.
Just
Yeah.
Sometimes I figure it out while I'm asking,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I need to do that.
yeah.
And so then I'm taking a class at University of Maine, but the Python part of it ends in a couple weeks, and then I'm moving on to like.
Right, Gretchen's in there. Do you know Gretchen? Nelson, I think her last name is. She teaches at Marshwood.
Oh no, but there's 40 people in the class and it's all online.
Because she keeps posting her homework on Discord.
Oh.
So are you doing the thing where you have to make a password? And the password has...
It was a budget spreadsheet, which
Yeah.
was a challenge for lining things up, and our instructor didn't have us line up the decimals, which for some of us was like,
That would freak me out. Yeah,
that's just wrong.
yeah, that would freak me out. Yeah. I would not do it. Yeah, no.
So,
So,
and he's got some things like this week that don't make sense, like you're asking a user for input 3 pieces of information about a prospective candidate, but then you're outputting that the candidate's name is always the same, and 2 different pieces. So James William is a 12-year-old candidate who wants to make, like...
yeah, it's a little
so
weird, right? We are
so
very...
then I have to ask, are you looking for it this way or this way? Whereas if it
Yeah,
makes sense, I
yeah,
wouldn't have to ask,
yeah.
because I would know what it should be.
Yeah, we're very careful. Hey, how are you? We're just getting warmed up. I got a microphone. So there. I know, I'm famous.
Damn.
I know, come on.
Are there really that many viewers on the stream?
Well, actually, it's really, no. The answer is no. It's prep. It's the machine learning course.
Yeah.
People want to keep that so they can go back to it.
Oh, smart.
Right? And a lot more people want to take that than can make it here.
Yeah.
So if we're just trying to figure out how to do this so that when we do the machine learning course, we get like a good take.
Yeah, so we're already set.
Yeah, we'll be ready to go.
I'm already on.
I know, I'm dying. I had espresso. I did. I went home and had espresso. Like, I'm having espresso and a cookie. Now I'm ready. But we try to keep our course material very much in an academic realm. You know, so it's computer science. It's not about, making a website work, which is fine. It's a good job.
Sometimes online you get some help and it makes, you can experiment 10 more questions and
Yeah,
like
yeah,
simplifying it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Makes you feel like you have more lost.
yeah. So we're trying to build skills so that someone who proceeds to computer science in college is oriented. Like that's our sort of mission. And then whatever else happens along the way, great. But that's where we're going. So our examples are hard. The thinking part's hard. Because we have a tree in our first session, right? Which is like, people don't do it.
As long as I can latch in somewhere.
Right.
Get a grip
That's the
somewhere.
hope. Yeah,
So
that's the hope.
sometimes if I can't even grip,
So the one you missed was all the little puzzles.
I did one.
Good.
I did
How
the
did-
squares, and then I started the other one, and I woke
Did you make
up.
nice?
Can you make the OBS window bigger so you can try to see
I didn't see Python.
both audio
I didn't
sources
see
at once?
Python.
Which are, yeah, it's a little bit obscure, yeah, yeah.
Now I could, but,
Yeah.
yeah.
What was the other one you did?
The other one I started
Yeah.
was the one with the phrase,
Or maybe you can stretch this pane or something.
yeah.
Oh, the fact was a large number?
No, it had like zero.
Oh, the multiplication table, yeah. That's
Yeah,
that's
it's
good.
not like it'll let
I
you
got
do
to
it.
print out some.
Let me hop back in the other room and see what that sounds like. But
And I
Did
woke
you
up
think it would
thinking
be a
about
really good
like
idea
a
to keep
permutation or a
the second
combination.
one?
You certainly
well,
could.
Yeah.
Actually, do you know
So,
which one's
I
which?
presented it in simple stages.
But then I had to do some grading.
Okay, you might want to.
Back to
You
the
could
joke.
probably change some.
Yeah, but the purpose of that one was
You
to
might
get
wanna
people
do
to
that.
appreciate that you can put loops inside each other.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was the sort of basic
I
idea.
appreciate it. I was just.
Yeah, you can put anything inside of anything.
I woke up from.
Yeah. Can you right click and just join in?
Well, that's good though.
Oh, yeah, I started to look at.
Good, good, good. How are you guys?
One short.
So you sure that's the webcam?
One short tonight.
Oh, what happened?
Well, it was 2.
What? No, her brother's birthday.
All right, that's all right. I guess I'll allow that.
Yeah, she wanted to be here.
So I think you want to keep the
That
webcam
happens.
one lower.
When you're at home, right?
Consistent
Got it, no
quality,
problem.
Also go over to desktop.
No problem at all. I remember to put gas in the car. Because it said like 18 miles. I'm like, oh, I'm fine. I'm like, oh, no, wait, it's there. Maybe I'm not that. Not as funny. Wait, did you test this thing?
Yeah, it seems pretty good, but Ilya came up with a really good idea, which is to.
He never has those.
I know, right? I was totally shocked. Wow,
great idea, Elliot. Didn't hurt.
This is why we have him like
Alright,
do everything.
So what do we do?
Adding the webcam in as a secondary. Not really, but you can add. I mean, indirectly, you can add 2 sources and set the levels in them.
Good enough.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I'm just gonna hop back on this.
All right, well, all right. Tell me when I need to talk, which I tend to talk constantly. So
Hey, at least you're aware of it.
yeah, no, I talk. All right, how's everything else going?
What?
Applications done.
Going well.
Is it good?
Yeah, I'm
Good.
pretty happy. I'm almost done with my essay.
Nice. Great.
Just cracking these supplementals.
Terrific. The
And I'll start-
supplementals, once you get rolling,
No.
a lot of times it's like a little piece of this, a little piece of that. You really have to think about
USC has a lot
continuity.
of them.
Yeah.
They have 4 250 words,
Uh-huh.
and then a couple of like rapid fire ones, which are like
I like
3
those.
words, which are like, really fun. It's like
Yeah.
one of them was like, "What's the best movie of all time?"
Yeah.
If you had one fictional or well-known character to be your roommate, who would it be?
Ooh, okay.
Stuff like that with little quick fire ones that are really good. If you could teach one class, what would it be on? I'm very happy with my answer.
Good. Which would be
The Rube Goldberg humor style of Arrested Development.
nice.
You ever watched that show?
No,
It's incredible.
but I would like to. I never have time to watch
I
anything.
watched it, I enjoyed it a lot.
It's very good. It's
Let's-
incredibly well written. Like they'll drop the setup to a joke, and like 3 episodes later you get the punchline.
What's the best movie of all time?
I said, I don't think it's like by like movie standard wise,
Yeah.
the best movie of all time. That's my favorite movie of all time. It's a movie called Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
I love that movie.
It's incredible.
That may be the best movie of all time.
Like I love.
I love that movie.
Really, I didn't
Yeah,
know you
I
knew that movie.
love it.
That's one of my favorite.
Looks like
movies.
Anthony at home, which you don't know Anthony, but he does nothing but watch movies.
Yeah, I will. I like if I'm bored on a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
I will open up my computer and watch
Yeah.
that movie.
And I just watched Time Bandits.
Oh, classic.
Still haven't
Could-
finished that.
Come on!
I don't know.
Could be the
I've
best movie of all
started it,
time.
like 3 times, I'm pretty sure.
Cuckoo's Nest could be the best movie of all time.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's
Yeah,
Nest.
it's
That's incredible.
gut-wrenching.
The book's very good
Yes,
too.
yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah,
Growing
it's
up
hard,
in 8th grade, it was brutal.
hard to watch. There's an essay right there.
Yeah.
Hard to watch. One
It's
Flew
about a mental asylum and a very mean nurse that rules over it. I guess is the best way to
Her
put it.
performance is so
She's so
so remarkable. So it's about Jack Nicholson is a young troublemaker, right? Trying to avoid prison. So he kind of fakes being a little crazy. So they put him in like the minimum security asylum where it's life's a little easier than the prison. He doesn't realize that he then can't get out. And the nurse that runs the thing is a study in passive aggression. And Louise Butler plays the role. I think she got best. I'm sure she got best actress or best support, whatever it was.
Because it's the
Yeah,
it's one of the only movies to sweep the Oscars. There's 3 movies that got the top 5, which is
Yeah.
Best Actor, Best Director, Best
Uh-huh.
Screenplay, Best Actress,
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
and they got all of them.
Yeah,
Would recommend.
yeah.
It's tough to watch.
It is tough to watch. Somewhat equally moving and not as hard to watch would be In the Heat of the Night.
Which one?
In the Heat of the Night.
I don't know it.
That's
Wait,
a,
is it from like the 30s? No.
no. That's like Inherit the Wind. In the Heat of the Night is a civil rights movie. It's in the 60s. It's in the early 60s. It's set in the early 60s. Sidney Poitier is a young guy going home at a train station, and the cops just arrest him in this southern town because there's been a murder of a white man who's a visitor. And they just blame him because he's a black guy and he's at the train station. So he says, you're not going to get away with it. I'm going home to Philadelphia. But it turns out he's a cop. So when they call to confirm that he's a cop, his boss in Philadelphia says, you need to help these yokels with their investigation. But I mean, they're trying to kill him. They're trying to lynch him throughout the movie. So it's a civil rights film about that tension. Yeah, it's really well done. It's a great script.
That sounds really good.
Yeah. That's on the Anthony list.
Have you seen anything else by Edgar Wright? We go to Scott Pilgrim.
No,
Like,
what else did he do?
He has a trilogy called the Cornetto Trilogy. It's Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and
I've seen Hot
World's
Fuzz.
End.
Yeah, I've seen Hot Fuzz.
Those are all incredible.
Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz. One of the best setups to a joke is the part where it's like, oh yeah, anybody who works for him, you want us to go through the whole phone book? We'll start with Aaron A. Aronson. And later in the movie, they save that kid. They're like, what's your name, son? He's like, Aaron A. Aronson.
Yeah, Hot Fuzz has got its thing going,
Yeah, and he also did Baby Driver.
which I've not seen.
Really? Yeah, that's Edgar Wright. Really? Yeah. Wow. You didn't know that?
I did not ever make that connection.
That's also one of well, because it's very not his style.
Then we have a subcategory of movies with no budget that are phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
So Gregory's Girl, which is a little Scott Pilgrim in a way.
Really?
Yeah. The Brother from Another Planet, which was like the thesis project for the guy who ultimately made like The Secret of Ronan Ish. I've seen any of those. But it's pretty amazing. But Anthony has a whole list of, it had to cost under $1 million for him to get the list.
I need to talk to Anthony.
He's
I feel like Anthony and I would really get along.
What, you definitely.
Recommend to give a guest lecture.
Right.
Yeah.
He's so funny.
I would love that.
He's ridiculously funny. This poor kid came in to talk about writing an essay this week. She's a crew member mate of Leo's, so we're talking. And she's like, well, what did Anthony write about? And I said, well, he wrote about accidentally doing stand-up comedy at a funeral, which actually did happen. Like, no, it actually happened, though.
That's incredible. What did you write that for, Scott?
Yeah, I mean, he had this teacher
Oh,
who
Fred Van the Puppet. Yeah, but okay.
he just adored. In like fifth grade, she just like was his lifeline. Nobody would sit with him, and she would just sit with him and tell him jokes. And then she fell ill when he was in eighth grade. She passed away. So there was a memorial service. The whole family was there at St. John's Church. At least 300 people. The whole school's there. And they asked, the people come up and say something, and then they said, we haven't heard from him next. And so Anthony put his hand up and like trudged up there and took the microphone. But all he could think to say about her was the jokes that she told him. But they were jokes that her father, who was standing there, had told her.
Oh, that's
It
adorable.
went really well, but he did stand up at a funeral. It was the craziest thing. But if you read the essay, like your heart pounds, like it's frightening.
That's so sweet, though.
Like what he was going through. You know? Yeah. Yep, that's Anthony. That's classically Anthony. Andre wrote essays about a math problem. Who is Pixel Planet? Whoever Pixel Planet is, he or she is going to be late. Could be Kathy.
Did you catch up on all the messages in the Discord when Lamb was helping Gretchen?
What?
The programming?
Oh no!
That was so cool.
How did that
It
go?
was fine. Lamb's actually a pretty good Python.
Hold on, because Liam's awesome,
Hold
but
on, I'm sorry. What?
Oh,
That is so cool.
I didn't design it.
I put it's a very Doug-esque thing.
Yeah, right. No,
Very
Doug would
good.
design his own.
Yeah, no,
I'm
it's
just
fair.
like using somebody else's
Wait,
pattern.
is that for Halloween?
Yeah.
What do we got this year?
This and a 9-foot pair of articulated bat wings. You know, the huge.
Yeah, probably.
where's I don't see Liam.
This was yesterday.
Oh,
or the
yesterday,
day
okay.
before.
In
Yeah.
students and teachers?
I don't know, it was wherever Gretchen was. No, it was probably.
Well, one of the funniest things is Kai used to blink in from California and coach Ilya.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's going to come home at Christmas. He didn't come home this summer. He stayed to finish. He's going to graduate early. Yeah, he's doing fine.
We're trying to figure out the trend now.
I'm just trying to make sure that I'm right. No, because I finished it, and so like say I put in 12, and it gives me that's my cost. I'm just double checking now, but I forgot what the actual like numbers were.
Oh no.
Do you want to see how I did it? Because you seem like you're using a lot.
I will be right back.
I use a lot of modular division.
Yeah, I just didn't.
Where's the quick mute on this? Is that,
Why don't you just leave it?
leave it right here?
Yeah. It was $40 with two
Perfect.
microphones.
We're rounding
It's
up.
perfect.
It probably doesn't have a quick mute.
Which
Yeah,
is out of
doesn't
10.
look like it.
Yeah.
But then, like if it was 12 divided by 12, that's 1. But then if it rounds out, it becomes 20 and then equals 2. So I have to say if it doesn't equal 0. Like, otherwise it's just fine.
Oh, that's cool.
And then
That's what I
from
love
there,
programmers. You can get so many different answers.
from there, I just did the things. Which I actually had a really fun time with this one because at first I was like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, but then once it clicks,
Yeah.
you're like, I got this.
What course?
It's,
CS.
yeah, it's the advanced CS course.
Nice.
It's essentially, so it's essentially APCS.
That's how you
Yeah.
student,
It's
What?
called, look at this.
student the nice bubble.
Oh, it still says
It's the,
APCS?
it's the third one.
Can I tell you what Miss Maddox did? She
What?
did the nicest thing ever.
Awesome.
Seriously ever. So there's this conference in Boston for the computer science teachers. She took it upon herself to inform them that Jeff and I should be speaking without checking with you, Jeff.
Yeah, I thought about right.
That's
Today she
funny.
sheepishly sent us a note about a week later.
Are you doing it?
Yeah, we're there.
Yeah.
We'll be
That's
there.
exciting.
Can I go?
Sure? No, you'd be bored.
Oh. Would I?
Yeah, well, because my job there is different than my job here. What number are you on?
3.
Jar jam weighs something.
Jeff, you've seen the Chrono trilogy, right?
And there's a shipping cart and weighs something.
Oh, yeah,
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 hot
yeah.
fuzz,
Yeah, I
frozen.
just didn't know them as that name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because it's like the ice cream cones. They eat one of each flavor and each week.
Bless you.
So Shaun of the Dead, they eat the strawberry flavored one.
Gotcha.
And Hot Fuzz, they eat the vanilla one, which is blue.
Mhm.
And World's End, they eat the mint
So,
one, which is green.
you don't need the math library.
No.
You don't need
Yeah, so you can do all
conditional
of them
either, I
again.
don't think.
We don't really use, well, I guess we use the math
You
library.
just want to do mod, or did.
She did, that's what I did. That's how I did it. That's not how she did it.
Well, let's just do that out. A jar of jam weighs something, right? Let's say 21 ounces, right?
Yeah.
Something can hold up to 12 jars,
Yeah.
right? The shipping costs include
Yeah, it's just.
something for each, something plus something, right?
Right.
So I think you can just cascade the numbers.
I didn't do it like that. I did, but I didn't do it like
I
that.
don't know what you did.
Did
I don't know how to do
did the
that.
math work?
Cause it's on here.
Oh, yeah, cast your desktop. You
So
can-
go to Chrome like you normally cast.
Come back in 1 second, get it up real quickly.
You like you normally cast.
So that's just
That's
all
great.
normal paper.
His sources.
Cardstock's a little heavier than the other paper.
Okay.
Although I'm gonna try to, so what I did,
No, go back.
what I'm thinking about doing the second time around is,
Hit
they
stop
sell this,
and
you know,
hit the
like,
cancel on the right
the
too.
cardboard that cereal
stop.
boxes are made out of, it's not corrugated,
And it's worth it.
solid, but it's
Yeah.
kind of thin.
Then go to-
You can buy that in sheets,
Oh.
and that's like heavier, and so I took, the pattern for this is a PDF. And,
On full screen.
PDFs actually
Like the
are
actual
vector
little mini
graphics.
screen.
So I opened it up in Inkscape, and I pull it all apart so that it's just vector lines, and then I can use that with a laser cutter to cut all the pieces out of that cardboard. So then I'll have like super precise cut pieces, and then I'll go back and do all those
Are
again.
you getting napkins or anything?
So that's what I'm gonna do for the second one. And if I make it out of that cardboard, then I'll just, I'll like airbrush it, because it'll be cardboard color, and I really kind of want it to be this color. Because
Today was such a
the
weird
wings
day
that
for
I'm
me.
wearing are the wings color, so.
Cause I woke up and ate 2 pieces of toast for breakfast and then got myself tater tots from a snack bar.
I would say toast and then I realized, oh yes, they make gluten-free bread.
From San Francisco, actually.
Wow, fancy.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Sourdough bread and
You import bread from San Francisco?
yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, that's not a judging, I didn't mean it.
No, it's fine, huh? Am I gluten-free sourdough? Yeah, from this company called Bread Seriously. They have,
Bread?
Seriously? That's a great name.
they have, it's like free of a lot of main allergens and it's fantastic.
Okay.
And so you can like, it's kind of pricey, but it's still worth it.
Okay.
And they send it, yeah, they have loaves and then they have like dinner rolls and it tastes like genuine sourdough bread.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm saying.
Yeah, it
Hold on,
is like,
Jay,
this is relevant to my interests.
All right, it is actually.
What did I do?
So far you did the right thing. Cases is jars did 12.
Yeah.
Right? I'm wondering what happens if you have 13 jars. What does that give you for an answer? What's 13 div 12?
What if I say like, what?
What's 13 jars going to give you on line 20? What's cases going to be equal to?
2.
What's 13 div 12?
It's 1, but then I have, if the remainder of 12 is not equal to 0, it calls this round up function, which is down here.
Okay, that looks like very interesting. It was a lot of work.
No, I just took the round down function that we
And
did in class and
you
changed
messed with it?
one number.
So I just have a question. If there's one jar, how many cases do you need?
1,
Yeah. If there's 11, how many cases do you need?
1.
What's 1 div 12? Div means integer, right?
Yeah, it's
0.
0.
What's 11 div 12? Go back to line 20. How would you feel,
That far.
well, I don't care. How would you feel about cases equals jars div 12? How would that be?
Okay.
Well, think about it now.
Yeah.
Right? Or, because you always need 1, logically it's actually 1 plus jars div 12.
Wow, you comment your code way more than I do.
Yeah, because
That's
I
good.
don't know what I'm
Yeah, I know, I'm a bad habit.
Right. That's good. So let's just imagine we considered a line of cases equals 1 plus jars div 12, and that always gives whatever cases.
Mm-hmm.
It may, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's just make that little change. I don't see any conditionals so far. Keep going. What else do you? That's good. Yeah, I like the parens because even though the binding is higher for division, the paren is clearer. So you, I kind of think lines 22 to 28 are not necessary.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because you just want to know the number of cases, right? Is that ever incorrect?
No.
The only time it's incorrect arguably is for 0 jars.
Yeah.
That's a degenerate case, okay. Yeah, let it out for now, you might need it. Who knows, what do I know, right? Back. All right, calculating the cost of cases, that seems okay.
Yeah.
Calculating the weight of jars and ounces, okay. Weight jars times, sure. Weight cases, case times, sure, that seems fine. Weight total is the sum, great. Total pounds, is weight total divided by 16? That's an interesting problem.
Yeah.
The reason I think that that's an interesting problem, and also I'm not quite sure why you want to round it up.
Because that's what it says in the thingy.
What does it say?
The shipping company or something rounds up to the nearest, like rounds up to the next pound for charging you, I think.
Yeah.
And was round up something that you did in class and feel inclined to use?
No, that's just.
Oh, so
something
that's-
So same drill. What if we have 15 ounces? What if we only charge you? Just use your fingers. 16 ounces. 17 ounces.
Bill just won.
No, dude, 2.
Oh, yeah, because 16, right?
Yeah, so it's the same problem as the other problem. You're just going to add 1. You're okay. You don't need that other stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
So is it just like 1 plus and then here?
Well, you got to be a little careful there. I mean, because I think 16 would then give you 2,
Oh, right.
right? I'm not sure if we have the problem in the other place too. Does the cost port? Let's go back to the other one for a second. Okay. How does that work for 12 jars?
That'd be 2.
Right. The answer for 12 jars is really how many cases do you need for 12 jars?
Just 1.
So how are we going to do that without a conditional? It's not easy.
I know.
Just gotta think about it. So let's just make a little table, okay? Huh?
I just totally glued my finger to the inside of
You
that.
require
You gotta be
assistance?
careful.
Not an old hand at this.
Yeah, when you have a second, post the stream in the Discord, okay?
Okay.
So your problem is that you want the number 1, right?
Yeah.
To be, sorry, there's 12 in the thing, right? To come out to 1.
Yeah.
You want 12 to come out to 1. You want 13 to come out to 2. Okay?
I mean, it's not until Friday, so I have some time to.
Doesn't matter, let's just figure this one little piece out and the rest of it will just collapse on itself, it'll be easy.
No.
Right? So clearly 12 over 12 is 1,
Right.
right?
That's a pretty cool math, man.
So
Thanks.
that's the funny
Is that all paper craft?
That's what I was noticing, yeah.
That's the funny. How are you going to deal with that? So what happens if you do 12 plus 1? Up here. Well, that would still make 1. Right?
That might be without a doubt the worst hand dryer
I know.
So listen, my boy.
No joke, not even kidding, I took it apart, seeing if I could figure out how to use it.
It's so bad.
You actually do support?
What happens down here at 23?
It's so bad.
What's 23 plus 1 div 2? That's good. What's 24 plus 1 div 2? Oh, no, div 12. Sorry, done that. 24 plus 1 div 12 would be 2.
Yeah.
Not quite working. No? Okay. How about if you add
Plus 11?
could be.
Is that 13 plus 11? Is that what's written there? Is that a 12?
Well, I don't know. So 1 plus 11 would give you 1.
Yeah.
12 plus 11 would give you 23.
Yeah.
That's 1. 13 plus 11. Div 12 would give you 2. 23 plus 11 would give you what? That's an 11. 23, 33, 34.
Yeah. So.
His mic is cutting in and out a little bit.
So
Can you go ahead or?
what's 24 plus 11 gives you,
I wonder if maybe we should move the receiver to one of the front USB ports? Like
okay,
like
then
a
that's what we
division,
need to work on.
like
Why
a
don't you
website.
pop up Replit on top of that page? Because it's easier to do into a division in Python, so it does it right away. Okay? Just crank it up.
Well, she explained in the class, it just takes me a second to think about it.
Well, the remainders don't count. Okay?
Right.
So pop up Python. Oh, I don't know, just open up a, do new, here you go.
So you can go to the properties.
You're gonna go right over to the right-hand window.
Okay.
And we're gonna type stuff and guess what it's gonna say. I'm gonna go first. Type 11 slash 12. Oh, sorry, Python, double slash. 11 slash 12, sure, why not? It's gonna give you a floating point number. Go, no, do 11 slash 12. Go ahead, 11 slash 12. Sure, enter. Not what I intended. 11 double slash 12. That's integer division. It's gonna give you 0.
Okay, so it just chops off the decimal.
Right, right, or let me say it the way the computer says it. How many 12s are there in 11? None. How many 12s are there in 13? There you go, that's how it works. So, what happens if we use the plus 11 approach? Right.
Seems like it's working.
Well, go define a function over here. Go over here, or just make a loop, right?
Yeah.
Just says from n is from 1 to 40 or something. I know, now you gotta switch languages, good luck with that. For n in range 40, paren 40 paren, colon,
Can I switch
Colin?
to OBS for a second?
print, enter, enter, print. And then in round parens, the two things we want to print, n, comma,
Before, is that the default?
right? Quantity n plus 11, double divide 12. Let's just try it. Okay, run that, it's going to go poorly, but it's important to see why. So you run that, right? And you're like, well, okay, here, you got to clear that little window. That doesn't look right at all. Now, what did you ask it to do here? N, which is 1 through 40, plus 11 div 12 is 0. You did n plus 0. Now, this time, put another set of parens. Put another set of parens around the n plus 11 to do that first, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then run it.
Yeah.
And see what happens. Here, try that. Go ahead, just try it. You got it. Hang on now. Oh, but look. So now where does it switch from 1 to 2? See, no conditional in that code.
Interesting.
So can I just talk about your weird boyfriend for a second?
Okay.
No, he's my son.
That's a fairly important distinction.
He managed to make 9 squares using mod arithmetic.
Yeah, we saw. Didn't we see that?
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
Did you find that to be a little weird? Some people really like mod arithmetic. That's what this is. Okay. I didn't think that could be done. I didn't think you could make 9 squares with 3 lines of code. I was wrong.
That was impressive.
I like being wrong. My favorite thing is being wrong. So that worked, right?
Yeah.
The other problem is just like this problem. You just have to figure out where the line is.
Yeah.
Where do you draw that line? That's all. Right? Hi. Need a laptop?
Yeah.
Oh, got to go find one. Jeff, where do we stash the
I
laptops?
think they're in the storage room.
There's a light switch in there, Charlie. Give it a shot, okay? A couple minutes, we get started.
Yeah, the light switch is on your left.
Okay.
Your other left.
Ilya, is that stream going?
Yep.
Okay. We're going to try the famous multiplayer trick. So, okay, let me just get Charlie fired up and we'll get started. What Replit allows you to do in theory, because it's new, is I can send you a link and you can participate in the coding session.
Oh, the multiplayer.
Yeah.
Ah.
I think we should give that a try, particularly for YouTube. Out in YouTube land, seeing what we're typing, pretty good.
But there's gonna be a weird little. There might be a weird little delay.
We'll see. So, hi.
Probably hasn't been used since last week.
I know we got a couple of folks probably showing up late, so we're just gonna get going, okay? So, sadly for me, this is our last meeting, right? But it's going to be, hopefully for you, the most fun because we're going to continue to build something now together that we have some basic skills. And I'm going to try to take away the mystery of how the heck do you make the computer do what you want it to do, right? How do you build something that's a little more complicated than just a couple lines of code? And the solution to the mystery is you have no idea. You just have faith that you'll piece it together as you go is one approach. It's an approach that works for me, okay? Other people will do more planning, and that's okay too. But the only people that will find it, I believe, truly frustrating in the end are those who are not willing to just give it a try. Okay, so all we're going to do is try. And I don't even know how far we're going to get. Doesn't matter, right, as long as we get someplace. So does anyone happen to recall that we had Bob and Joe, and they were both teachers, and they were going to get in a battle, right? Maybe to be a multiplayer participant. You don't have to join. You can just sit here and watch what I do, ask questions, that's fine. I'll leave it behind so you can look at it later. But if you could type with me, then you can actually type with me. Like I can say, hey, you do it. You do it. You type in the same thing as me.
It looks like you can go to Replit/@LoisLab and if that's helpful.
Okay.
Limit reach.
Limit reached. How many people are here? Hang on. I don't know. Whoops. Is it still working? I just refreshed it. That might have been a bad idea.
Yeah, so repl.it/@LoisLab. And that gave me a list of exercises, one of which is Joe Bob.
Can you see me typing?
Nope.
Okay, so I'm going to post the link one more
I got
time.
it this time.
Can you see me typing?
Wait, can you try typing again?
It worked?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right.
I didn't
So
see that.
let's just do the experiment. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Fine. But I'm glad you're here. And we'll give it a shot. So Joe and Bob, aha, I can see Ilya.
Good morning. Yeah.
Perfect. All right, it's working for some of us.
Wait, hold on, let me try.
All right, Joe and Bob are going to get in a fight. All we know how to do is roll dice. Unless they're going to throw dice at each other, it's not going to go well, right? So I'm not going to try to conceive of the whole way to make a method or a function that takes the problem to start to finish. I'm going to, in this case, work from the inside out. I'm going to ask myself, well, what is one thing that's going to have to happen in the middle of a battle in a D&D episode? And the one thing that occurs to me is I'm going to have to know if Joe hit Bob. Is that a thing? Right?
Yeah.
Or if Bob hit Joe, right? So I want to make something, and you guys tell me how it works. Is the result of hitting a yes or no, or is the result of hitting a number?
It's a yes or no, and then you roll your damage.
Okay, so we're going to make a function that's going to return true or false if A hits B.
Yeah.
Well,
Sort of. So essentially the AC thing. So you roll a d20,
Uh-huh.
and you add, your weapon might have stats, your character might have stats, but you add to it.
Yeah, okay.
And then if that number beats the other person's AC, you hit.
We'll keep it simple.
And then you roll damage.
So we'll keep it simple. Good, thanks. So I'm going to make a function that I now believe that I need, okay?
You can also simplify it if you roll anything over 10 of the d20 into 6.
We could do that. I'm going to be a little more ambitious because I'm looking for an excuse to be a computer science teacher and I want pretending to play D&D. So I want to have to look at Joe and Bob somehow. Okay, so let's try it. Let's call it did I hit, okay? And it's going to take two characters, two players, right? We're going to call them what? Player 1 and player 2. And just so everybody remembers how a function works, it's going to start by returning true. I know that's kind of silly, right? But I want to make sure when I'm writing something that has any scale at all that if you make 2 mistakes, it'll take you hours to disentangle your work. I want to make 1 mistake at a time, right? So I'm going to go right up over here and I'm going to type, did I hit? And we'll say the first guy's doing the attacking and the second guy's doing the defending, Joe Bob. Yep, Joe Bob. Okay. Now, not much of a function, right? Let's try to make a simple way to do this. So they have, let me look at Joe, because I don't know how the game works. He's got a sword that has a certain number of rolls on a certain size die instead. Is that to assess how much damage it does, or whether it hits damage?
That's if it hits, it rolls 2d4.
Okay, so what is this skill that allows people to hit people? Like, what would I normally do here?
What do you mean?
I want to roll. Yeah, Elliot?
Just put random function.
I want to use the random function too, right? But how do I know if Joe hit Bob?
So if you roll a d20,
Okay.
and whatever the modifier is, if we're not going to do it, but if the d20 is higher than Bob's AC.
Good. Let's try it. Let's just start there.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's return. How do we roll a d20? Roll 20. We broke that last time, right? So what if roll 20 is greater than or equal to? Is it greater than or equal to?
I don't remember. Do ties go to the attacker or the defender?
If the tie is usually the attack still hits it.
The fact that you have an opinion about that is very heartening. So ties go to the attacker? Okay. So return roll 20 is bigger than the defender's AC, right? Now this got slightly complicated and interesting already. So let's start by trying it a few times, and then if it looks like it's working, let's figure out what it's really doing, okay? Now I can run it again.
Can you have that display on this TV also?
That's a good question. I don't think I can.
You might be able to try.
You know what?
Have somebody else.
But I would like to sit here.
I can cast.
Can you have someone that's sharing it?
I can do that.
Oh, yeah,
That's a good idea.
Yeah, do that. Try it. Sure.
So then I can
I
take
can't
it
see
out.
it, but someone else can.
Fire, who's got a?
Perfect. Thank you.
Cast and screen?
Has someone already done
Someone did.
I did.
Oh, I can't see. Thank you. Okay. All right. So did I
Classic
hit
innovation.
Joe Bob?
Oh, we can even see what you're typing in the terminal. That's crazy.
False, true, false, true, false, 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 true. Kind of looks like it's working, right? But it's doing something really strange and interesting. Because here, Joe, what is Joe's data type? What is Joe? That's correct, it's a dictionary. And Bob is a dictionary. Okay. Did I hit player 1 and player 2? When I call this, does Python know that those are dictionaries?
No.
I think it's fair to say that Python hopes that those are dictionaries. This is way different than Java or C or most other languages, okay? So if I come along and say A equals a list that is 1, 2, 3, and B equals the number 88, and then I type did I hit, I don't find out until pretty late in the game with Python that I made a mistake. Okay? So did I hit A comma B says, hey, you know what? I was really hoping for something else. Namely a dictionary. Okay? So now my only other question is when I succeeded up here, did I hit Joe Bob? the program ran properly. Oops, let's just try this. Oh, you get feedback on the screen, that's funny, when I type it incorrectly. Did I hit Java, right? How does it work now in line 16 that player 1 becomes Joe? A lot of people find that hard to follow. No, not you two. So let me just ask the question in a slightly different way. What if I typed it this way? Now who hit whom? Yeah, no, go ahead, Ellie. Who hit whom?
Bob hit Joe.
Bob hit Joe. So this is what I call parameters, and the order matters. When I call a function, well, the words we use is I pass parameters. I provide values for the function to act upon. Okay. And just to show you something interesting about this particular function, I noticed that the function only uses in the code player 2 right now. We didn't need player 1. We'll need player 1 later, so make it fancier. But I could therefore give Python any silly thing for player 1 because it's not using it. This is a common source of error. People think when code appears to work, it must be right. Sometimes when code appears to work, it's like, okay? So the beauty of Python, that it tries everything and it's sort of friendly, is also a limitation you gotta pay attention to. This is why we like to do things a step at a time, because you can build something that has these magical side effects, and unless you really focus every step of the way, you might not know, right? Okay. So did I hit worse? What happens after I hit someone in a battle in D&D?
Roll damage.
Yes, you assess how much damage you did, right? So let's try it. We'll call it do damage, right? Player 1, player 2. Now before I go on, does that seem like a sensible way to start a function? Does anyone have any questions about why I chose to name it that or to provide 2 players to it? Good? Okay. So if we're going to figure out whether we did damage, again, we put the attacker first and the defender second. Now I need help again. How does it work? How does it work? What do you do?
If you hit, then you roll a different type of dice based on the weapon type.
Okay.
And also your ability modifiers.
Okay.
So it could be like a 1d8 plus 2.
Sure, got it. That was very clear to me. So thank you. So what we're going to do, right, is let's start with getting the weapon. Now the weapon's a little tricky because you notice when we came up with these attributes for the weapon, we kept track of the number of rolls and the size of the die. So we've got a little programming to do just to figure out what the roll is, right? So all I'm going to do for this initially is I'm going to kind of half write the function. I'm just going to try to figure out what the roll is. Okay. So somebody tell me if I were to roll for Joe, because he hit someone with his abacus sword, what else, right? And I were just sitting here at the table, someone who hasn't spoken up so far tonight, what would I actually do? Emma, Wesley.
What was the question again?
So if Joe, we're trying to figure out how much damage Joe does, right?
Okay.
And so these guys told me the first thing you have to do is you have to roll the dice and add them up, right?
Yeah.
If Joe hits somebody, what mechanically, if I was sitting there and I was a dungeon master, what would I do? No. How many times would I roll what? It's not a trick question. Okay. So when we built the representation for the weapon, we gave it a name because it was amusing, right? And plus later on we can make it say, oh, he swings his whatever, right? And then what do you think number of rolls represent?
The number of times you roll the die.
Right, yes. And what do you think die is not a great name represents? Four-sided.
Yeah.
So, you guys, what this thing is trying to tell me to do is roll a 4-sided die twice. Got it? So now what does it say about Bob? Do a what? So roll a six-sided die once. Fine. So what's our function gonna do? So we're gonna get somebody named player one. We don't know which player it is. What are the two things we need to know about player one? Sure. Look at this.
That's sad.
Of course they are.
You might want to hand those around because people aren't aware of
Yeah, visual aids.
The D4, yeah, the D4 is kind of confusing.
And if you don't mind giving Emma 1d6 and giving Wesley 2d4.
I also have character sheets.
This is also
Iconic. I should have brought
Oh, that's good.
My DM left for college.
I only have one D4, so you're gonna have to roll it.
Because my students are, I'm running a D&D club.
Have you seen-
I'm
I
copying
have
their-
someone left at my house by my son.
My DM left for college and he had my character sheet, and I'm so upset.
Alright, so
Now, has that one?
you got that.
I'm
That's right, roll the dice.
I'm
What do you got there? What's the total? Now, what actions, remember the first night you talked about things you can do? You just did something, right?
Yes,
What did you do?
I rolled the dice.
You rolled how many dice?
Two.
And then you added the,
They both up so I get 9.
so you got the number, right?
Yes.
That's what we gotta do. Okay. So, where am I gonna look inside player one to figure out how many rolls and how many how many sides on the die?
In the weapon.
And the
library?
weapon, exactly.
Is that a library?
It's a dictionary.
A dictionary?
Yes, it's a dictionary. That's what you meant.
And you check
Yeah.
the key, right?
Right? So what I'm gonna start is I'm just gonna print player one weapon, because I just wanna make sure I'm not crazy, right? I wanna make sure I'm looking in the right place. And so after all that thinking and doing, now I've got something that at least starts to possibly make sense. I'm gonna do damage,
Can I have something more remedial?
of course.
I'm just hung up on your HP and AC up there. What do those stand for? Why did you?
Ask an expert, please.
HC is its health, their health points, so you can wear them
So
down
if
to
I knew
0 and
Dungeons
then
and
they die.
Dragons, I might have figured that out.
AC is armor class,
I
like,
feel
I
like
thought it was
stupid now,
just-
thank
yeah.
you.
So, in support of remedial questions, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I just figured someone would know that. I set up the whole course, I'm like, somebody will know how to do it. Okay, so,
I expected comments to explain the thing.
well, I hope you guys.
You just call out Michael for not coming.
Yes, wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Will do.
Flamed.
So, when I do damage Bob Joe, I got Bob's 3D printed fork.
3D fork.
3D printed fork.
What?
Yes.
We forgot we did that.
And when I do damage Joe, Bob, I get the abacus sword, right? That's not exactly what I need, but it's a start. What I really need is I need the details of the weapon, right? So I'm gonna try to take the next step. One step at a time, I'm gonna say number of dice equals, so what do you think? It's the weapon and then what attribute of the weapon? What are we gonna call it? Right up here. We called it number of rolls, so maybe I should call this. Whoops. I should have called this number of rolls.
rules.
There we go. So I'm just gonna go in the dictionary and get that number. Later on, we can actually use the number directly from the dictionary, but I think this will clear. Okay. And likewise, I kind of want to know the number of sides on the die, right? Number, you got to move your cursor. Or is that me?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. It glows over here, like puts a little shadow. I thought that I might be you, because I don't know how I'm logged in. So number of sides would be player one, what? Still part of the weapon. And then what? Done.
Ouch. You can say it like that.
So let's print those two things. Hey Dan,
Sorry.
it's okay.
So
Join us.
more unruly.
So let's print those two things and see how that goes. So we're just building up our little D&D combat system one line at a time. Now what's going to happen? Do damage. Joe. Bob. Does that make sense? So who can predict what will happen when I reverse these two? Emma, Wesley.
Yeah.
If Bob's attacking, how many rolls and how many sides?
Got this one.
One roll with 6 dice.
Right, and I think Emma found that right here. Bob, weapon, details. Okay. Make sense? One roll with 6 dice, right? So now what I need to do is what you actually did. Do it one more time, please, just so we remember. Let's see. You rolled one of them, and then you gave me the total. I'm with you. All right, how am I going to do that? Bearing in mind that I might have to roll lots of dice, I don't know. Go ahead.
Have a for loop that goes through the range of the number of rolls.
Sure, yes. And for each, inside the loop, I'm going to roll one time.
Yeah.
Sure?
And add it to a total.
And then add it to it. Yeah, I agree. I'm going to start with 0,
It's probably my choice.
right? Don't want to cheat. So I'm going to start with 0, and then I'm going to make a loop. And you asked me to loop how many times? Equal to the what?
The range of whatever the number is inside a number of rolls.
Number of rolls, right?
Oh, would you have to do like whatever player 1?
No, I put it in a local variable.
Oh, you already did the variable. Yeah.
I could have put that whole thing in here, but it gets pretty obscure.
Looks kind of gross.
Yeah. And then when I want to add something to something,
Plus equals.
anyone ever do that?
Yes.
Watch this. This is kind of important. A is 0. A plus equals 3. Now A is 3. You might have think I typed A equals 3, but I didn't, because if I do A plus equals 3 again, that's to add something to something. Shorthand, but you see it a lot. Okay.
It works with all the other operators.
Yeah,
right?
divide equals, yes, to everything, sure. Mod equals. So total plus equals, and then I know how to roll because we figured it out last time, and the number of sides is just number of sides, like that, I think. But I try not to do too many things at once, so I'm gonna see if this looks reasonable, right? So now this is getting a little bit more interesting, at least in terms of the math, right? Because when I do damage, what's going to happen? Who has one die? Bob has one thing. So Bob should be a number 1 through 6. Looks okay, right? But now, more interesting question. What do I expect when I run Joe over and over? What's Joe got to do? Tell me. He's up there. He's got to roll what?
2 with 4 sides.
With 4 sides, right? So what's the biggest number Joe can get? 8. What's the smallest number Joe can get? 2, right? What are the odds that Joe get any one of those numbers?
116.
I don't know about
Like
that.
each number, I'll see each die.
I don't know. I play a lot of backgammon with Andre. So when I do this, the numbers look okay. They're not bigger or smaller, right? There's a 7. We see it a 2. I think I saw an 8 a while ago. We'd kind of like to see an 8. It's hard to get an 8. Why is it hard to get an 8? Why? It took me a long time.
Because there's only one way to get it.
It's only one way to get it.
Twice on 2 6-sided die, 7 is the most common one you can get.
Exactly. So I just want to mention that as Joe and Bob duke it out, the distribution of the totals is different, right? Because one guy's rolling one thing, which makes the distribution even, and the other guy's rolling 2 things, which makes a spike of them. Okay, we won't have to dwell on that, but that's how it works. Take a look at it later. Come on. Okay, so now that we try to do damage, right? I got my total. I compare it to what? Right, subtract the who, what do I do?
So once you have your damage, you subtract it from player T's HP.
What about its armor?
The armor is a part of the did I hit.
Armor is part of did I hit? Oh, it is. Oh, so once the armor doesn't prevent him.
The armor doesn't matter after you.
He just gets injured.
Yeah. It's like once you, essentially saying it's like once you get past the armor, he's going to take that damage.
Okay, fine. So now what just in English, Dungeon Masters, what happens to which player?
Player 2 takes the damage, so you subtract the total from his HP.
Okay, so where do I find player 2's HP? Yeah.
Dictionary.
In the dictionary, under HP, right? And if I want to subtract something from something rather than add something to something, instead of using plus equals, I use minus equals, yeah. Python's a happy place to work. How's that look? It's a start, right? Good. So now, maybe it's worth a try, right? Once or twice. And what I think I want to do is, I want to say, do damage. Who wants to be the attacker? That doesn't matter to me.
Bob.
Bob. Okay, we got Bob fans out there. We do damage, Bob Joe, right? And then there's, how's Joe doing? His HP is now 9.
Ooh, light hit from Bob.
Okay, so the reason, okay.
Sneezed on
So it was 10. Now it's 9. Do it again. Oh no, do it again. How's Joe holding up? Joe. Where is he now? HP is 4. Right? So, one more time, maybe it for Joe. I don't know, Joe's hanging in there. Come on, Joe. This is an example in computer science class. Joe!
He's really staying alive right here.
All right. Ooh.
Ooh.
Got a little problem with the code.
He's unconscious.
Well, he's a negative.
Yeah, I think
It's actually a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a thing?
You have to roll a death
Let's leave
save.
it in.
Yeah.
All right, I
You're
don't
running
know.
death saves.
Yeah.
I'm kind of happy that it's a thing. Okay. So now listen, we can roll dice. We can figure out if we hit. We can figure out if we do damage, right? What's left?
Ending the game.
Right, well, so if I were fighting with you, what would happen? First,
We determined if I was dead.
no, you would swing at me with your whatever,
Weapon.
and then,
You,
my turn.
yeah,
Okay.
it'd be your turn.
And then, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's the end of the project. If we can get that going, then I can hand some things over to you guys. Okay? How are we gonna do that? Good news. I don't know. We don't need to. I need to call it something. You gotta start somewhere, right? So it's a fight between 2 players. We'll call it,
Fight.
yep. Works for me. Right?
Can I get that announcer voice?
Okay. Okay. It's fight between 2 players. Right? How does it proceed in real life?
You hit someone and they hit you back.
And when do you stop?
It depends on who you are.
In Dungeons and Dragons. Where do you stop?
Let's want to beat a dead horse in here.
If character background equals an upgrade.
Okay, so in my Dungeons and Dragons for now, I will stop
When I say stop.
when one of the players is 0 or negative.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
That seems like a good time to stop.
Yeah, problem.
Yeah.
Right?
Let's
Good.
go to 0.
So I'm gonna get
Laying in people.
I'm so determined to do this a step at a time and not make mistakes, or at least see my mistakes as I go, that I'm gonna write the inside part first. I'm just gonna have to do an exchange of swings. And I have one more question just to get the rules right. If player 1 kills player 2 before player 2 can swing back, does player 2 get to swing back?
No.
Okay, fine. So it seems like the first thing I want to say is, if player 1 hits player 2, player 1 player 2, that returns true or false, right? If player 1 hits player 2, right, I want to do damage. It seems okay. We wrote something that does exactly that way. This is, if you write things in components, take your time and they work, it's not frustrating because then you get these little short things instead of these big long things, right? If did I hit player 1, player 2, do damage, right? So now I think I'm going to just for fun write a quick little function called is dead or is unconscious.
Unconscious unless you go like,
Three,
I can't remember the
three
rule.
failed death saves.
Like,
Is
well, yeah, that's
un-
like 5th edition.
I can't spell.
Oh, sorry.
I can't spell.
Knocked out, just do knocked out.
SC, yeah.
Is
It's- how about is dead?
Is tired.
Is tired.
Is out cold.
I like out cold.
Now, I'm only dealing with one player at a time here, so remember when you scope something, inside of this function, player, this player, it's not player 1 or player 2, just player, right? And I know if I'm out cold, all I have to do is return player, don't tell me, HP, right? Less than or equal to 0, that's out cold. All right. I'm not even going to test that one again. All confident now. I'm just going to
Ooh.
okay?
No comments and you're getting
Flying along, right? If,
sounds like me.
right? If not is cold.
If not is.
Well, it's good enough. Player 2. So player 2 is still on his feet, right? And did I hit player 2 gets to try to hit player 1, right? It's only fair.
Yeah.
Player 1, right? Do damage. Do damage. Whoops. Ah. Player 2. Player 1. Now that's the beginning of something that could work, right? Kind of get there. And I think we should try it. Who goes first?
Bob, give him a fighting
Go
chance.
Bob, okay.
Give him a fighting chance.
Okay, fine. I think Bob's a little undergunned here, right? Bob, Joe, not Bob, Doc Joe, Bob, right? Something might have happened. So, no, just hint, we're gonna add a narrator. That's our next job. What happened? I don't know what happened. And this is why I wrote it this way. I've got no idea what happened. It might have worked, because they might have both missed. Oh, someone's commenting my code. No, you're awesome, man. Are you doing it?
Yeah.
Thank you. Keep it up. So my code is commenting itself. Keep going, kid. All right, so,
Dude, that'd be so nice.
so I think this would be a lot more fun, and also I stand a chance of figuring out
I'm
how
gonna write a
it
program
works,
to comment the program.
right? If it had something to say. For instance, did I hit, right? I could say print, I want to say player 1's what? How about name? Ooh, no names. Can't use Joe, that's a variable name,
Oh.
right? We forgot to give them names.
Couldn't you print the variable though?
The technical answer is in Python happens to be yes, but the practical answer is that's not what variable names are for.
Okay.
So they're to represent within the source code a placekeeper for something. The very first day we talked about what we know versus what we do. Okay. An attribute, which is what we're dealing with here, wants to be stored in memory. Otherwise, it would get super tricky really quick. Okay. But since you asked, you can give Bob a nickname, please. So I gave Joe the Bold. Good day.
Bob the Boulder.
Bob the Builder.
Bob the Boulder.
Bob the Boulder Builder. All right. We'll start with Boulder. Let's go. Or Bob the. How do you spell? Oh, wait. You wanted this. Bob the Boulder.
That's a very large rock.
That's even better.
There's a very
Fine.
large rock.
So now I could say print player 1's name, swings, and ... something. Right? run that. Oops. Did I make a mistake? That's okay, mistakes you do. What line did I make a mistake on? Line 8. Oops. I said Joe equals Joe the Bull. That doesn't, Python doesn't work like that. That doesn't make any sense. I wanted to say Joe's name. I did not do that on purpose. That's just a mistake. A minute, okay? Oh, I know why it's right. Because it's not important. I wanted to say Bob's name. So what happened to me there is when something doesn't work, Python tells you what it thinks is wrong. And if you're a little patient with it and yourself, you'll get the hang of reading that. You know what it means, okay? So now if I do fight, oops.
Oh, that was my elbow. I'm sorry.
The fact that that's even possible is fun. Fight, Joe.
Unexpected limitations of the multiplayer Revit.
There you go. Bob the Boulder swings in something. Joe the Bold swings in something. Getting there. Result is this. Right? Up here. So then later on I'll just return the result. That makes it available for use here, right? So I'm going to say plus result. And I'm going to leave a little of this, I might fix it, I might not. It's going to say swings and true or swings and false.
Swings and
True. But I'm trying to get to the point where I can hand this over to you guys and have a little time left for you to do things to it. Right? Oops. Can't do that. You can do this. Because I tried to put two data types together that are not the same. I did that rather quickly. I made it into a string. Okay. Bob the Boulder swings in. Good enough, right? So now, what's our expectation? If the code is working and we look at Bob and Joe, it looks like they both got hit. So what should be true about the remaining data structure we built? They both got hit. What should have changed? Yeah, I think so, right? I don't know. Let's see. Bob started out with health of 12, and he's down to 12. Not too good. Joe, what's his health? 10. Okay. I don't know what's wrong. We'll figure it out, right? So down here, do damage, player 1, player 2. I think it would be the most fun to go inside of do damage and write a little a narrator in there too, right? And see what happened, okay? For instance, right here, to print, player 2 got hit, right? So print, player 2's name. Got hit. HP was, I have to make everything a string here so I can print them out, right? Player 2 HP. Then we can try to change it, right? And print. And now, it is, you can't say it's because I can't use the apostrophe.
Use the escape character,
Yes, I could. Player 2 HP. Now, if this doesn't work, I'm going to rely on you guys to debug it. So take a close look. Okay. Fight Joe, whoops, Bob, Joe. They're both false. Let's try it again.
My cursor's so massive.
Hold on. My up arrow doesn't work. Fight Bob, Joe. Okay, Bob the Boulder swings in true. Joe the Bold got hit. HP was 10. Now it's 6. Joe the Bold swings in true. Bob the Boulder got hit. HP was 12. Now it's 8. Sounds convincing. Do we think it actually happened? What's his HP? 8. It happened. Oh, why didn't it happen the first time? Is it possible for do damage to do no damage? No.
If it hits, it has to do at least a minimum.
I hate to leave a mystery behind or have to go back to YouTube later and sort the thing out, but I do not know what happened just then. So when this
You have
happens,
to rerun the code?
I probably didn't reload something. It's Replit, who knows? I don't know. It's working now, right? And I'm going to push toward the goal of the handoff, which is like just a couple minutes here. Okay, so I want to do it that way. Okay. But you can see so far, right, that we're getting somewhere. And all I really wanted to do, this is a really common thing, is now I can think about the stopping condition. I want to just keep doing that until what?
Somebody dies.
Somebody dies. Let's do that. Right, good. So I'm going to say while not is out cold player 1 and not is out cold player 2. And I want you to know as I get ready to hand this off to you, this is what computer science teachers do before class. That's your homework. You know how they give you something and say, okay, change it? There it is. Okay. So now I should be able to say, fight Bob Joe, and Shazam, maybe, I don't know. I gotta say the narrative's a little dull, and I don't like the true and false, but let's just read it. Bob the Boulder swings in true. Joe the Bull got hit, and he's down from 10 to 9. Okay, fine. Joe swings, missed. Bob hits, Bob's good at hitting. 9 down to 4. Joe swings in true. Bob is down from 12 to 8, and so on. False, 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 false. Then a little further down right here. Bob hits somebody, his HP was 4, but now it's 2 because he did almost nothing. Joe swings in. Interesting, right? The last test I would do, besides make more characters, right, is I would want to make sure it's working, so I would probably make one of these guys what my kids would call totally OP. Like I would make this, 10. Because I don't care if it's reasonable, I care if the code works right now, right? Fight,
He doesn't come in one shot, I'd be surprised.
Joe's on. Ooh! Not pretty. Okay, so,
What does 10d6 of damage?
well, no, not anymore, sorry. Okay. So we built a whole system, right?
35 damage.
I will get it. It's pretty complicated. But by taking things one step at a time and always testing everything, I made only, what, a half a dozen really dumb mistakes, right? To round up with something that worked. The most common thing I see people doing in a very good-natured, well-meaning way is to try to do a lot at once. And then have something where you've got so many things that aren't quite right that you can't figure out, you can't get grounded. You can't say, wait a minute, which of these things isn't working and why? Okay. So thanks for being patient with me. That was fun for me, but also it was meant to show you how to piece something together just from a concept, right? So what I want to invite you to do, apart from take a break, is let's make that do something else. We can make the narrator a lot more interesting. We can make the combat more complicated, right? We can introduce new characters. Okay? Who wants to try what? Doesn't matter, because everyone's going to make their own private copy of this, right? So why don't we take a break, you think, for a minute, and then everybody try something. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to Replit, to LoisLab. You're going to get Jill and Bob and hit the button called fork, right? And fork in software land means make me a private copy that I can hack on without making anybody upset. That's fork. Okay? So go ahead and fork it, get it run locally, make sure it runs, take a break, come back, and we'll talk about what we can do. Okay? I need some water. Guys, there's a water cooler back here. We now have cups. We have cups. So yeah, you just
I didn't know that was an option now. Getting fancy here. Good.
seeing fork. I'm clicking
Let
on
me
it.
come take a look.
I can't.
I'm
fit-
sure
I
it's
think
just some dumb thing that I'm not
Oh, right there. Two
familiar
things
with
going
the
at once.
environment really.
So there you go. So you found your way to the right place. And I happily said there would be a fork button, but I think it's maybe just
I
made
saw it
some-
last night in a different one.
It may have somehow made you, I don't know. When you type in there, does it go up there?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm sure it does.
Yeah, good, just type it, just type
Yeah,
it.
it's me, it's you.
Okay, but, so you wanna take that away?
Yeah.
So how do, hey, Ilya, do you know how to fork in multiplayer? Is it over on this part?
It should just be like from this fork.
Yeah, I thought so
I saw that
too.
last night on a different one, but I haven't.
Just try reloading it.
I
Hey,
did.
hey, Michael,
Yes?
if
I
you
went
go
out and
to
back
Replit
in.
/ @LoisLab and go to it there is a fork button.
Got it, okay, so you have to somehow get out of the multiplayer? So Jeff is suggesting reload the site by going to Replit @LoisLab with no name there.
Okay.
Just Replit @LoisLab.
Oh.
Yeah, somehow, sure.
Whoops.
That's okay, went to the right. Well, slash. Oh, if Google found us, that's terrifying, okay.
I know.
Yeah, no, the URL would be, Jeff, one more time.
Replit / @LoisLab.
Oh yeah, Replit / @LoisLab. It's a little obscure. There you go. And then go to Joe and Bob, which was just there. That's okay, we'll get there. There you go, try that. And now that you're not in multiplayer, if there's no button, we'll ask Jeff to come and explain himself. Maybe I have to turn multiplayer off.
Okay, I just got her there and there's a fork button.
It's a strange place. I wouldn't be surprised if it behaves differently in different spots, okay? So,
So appropriate.
is there a way to, oh, look at this, I can just do that. Well, I threw you out. Did that help? Sarah,
Oh, yeah.
did it make a difference?
Let me reload the page.
I was logged in, so it just kept it.
Yes, that made a difference.
Yes, I booted you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
She forked it, and of course, her randomly generated name is Honest Superb Leadership, because what else would it be?
I'll
So
take
what's
a
the
cat that too.
I'm going over here. Hey, Emma, what's up?
Honest, superb leadership.
I worked Jeff, when I was at
Okay,
IOL,
so,
they're like,
I need to do that for you.
every time you load the page, you would have a
Can you
different
reload that page?
randomly generated acronym for what it stood for.
That's fine.
So, actually, this button right there, yep. Now that I kicked you out, I had to kick you out. I feel bad, but it was for a good cause. So now, this is you. See how now it's your replica? Yeah, there you go. You're welcome.
What did fork do? It made me a copy?
Yeah, so
How come it's not called copy then?
for a very good reason, which I can explain. When you're working on a big project, right, the goal is to fork and merge the source code. So, get this giant project, we're curious about this one aspect of it, we fork it, make a copy, go work on our thing, and then offer it back to the other developers, and then they do a merge and put our stuff in their stuff. And that's how you take a big project forward. And so Replit does a really good job of developing those disciplines in a tiny little space. Yeah. In fact, Replit is connected to GitHub. You can put your Replits in GitHub.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, like when you create a replit, it like gives you an option to like do it with something.
Right.
We all went and watched.
Mm.
Yeah, I needed a break, so it's good. A lot of feel hockey.
Yeah, it has been, especially for you.
All right, who's working on the combat mechanics, who's making characters, and who's working on the narrator?
Oh, I just made another character.
Nice, good, I do that. It's a totally natural thing to do.
I put my guy in there.
Cool, good, good, good. If you can't decide, try to make the narrator a little more lively and coherent. Go ahead, go for it. Or just do anything.
Prolonged spots in it.
Oh yeah, he keeps healing him.
Yeah.
Until he runs out of spell slots.
Thank you, Jeff.
Welcome to my ASMR channel.
You can leave.
Maybe the adults should be live. Make it do something. You can do it. You want to make it do. Yeah, make it do something. Why not? Being recorded. Yeah. What's going on with you?
I'm watching the live stream.
Crack me up.
It's kind of meta.
I think I'm passing it up on the screen, so it's just like that infinite loop, like when you have
Yo, would
the screen recorder on
do
while
that,
recording.
just to see what happens.
Okay.
I can possibly not do that. Let's go right. Try that.
Just sign that.
How long is the delay? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay,
there's gonna be another 12-second delay to the next TV. And then
All
another
right.
12-second delay to the next TV.
Okay, now, go back to record.
Oh, you can see me about to swing my hand on the other oh wait, no, hold on. Oh wait, oh, we're gonna point in a second. There it is.
Okay, so here's what we were talking
I
about.
hate this so much.
Okay, turn that off. Kill the screen share. Go to cast. Kill the share.
Okay.
It was a good experiment. I'm glad we did it. Now we know how it works. Okay, good. Now listen. If on this, if you want to go back to last week's example, that's totally fine. Okay. Let's go back to last. No, come on now. You're doing it. Click. You can do it. There you go. Now, I thought we were going to write a program where I could give it a number of sides and we draw a polygon with that many sides.
Oh, yeah, I actually created something like that.
Yes, good.
See if I still had it,
Okay.
but.
When you're ready to show it to me, just say, hey, Michael, okay? Yeah, what's up?
How do I get to the second thing in here?
Oh, okay, do you want to pop it up here? So when you mean the second thing, you mean there's a dictionary inside the dictionary. Is that what you're referring to? I think so. So pop it up
Okay,
here.
well, let me count.
Okay. So rather than answer your question, I'm going to show you how to answer such a question. Won't let you cast. Well, that's kind of depressing. Let me see. Okay, let's not worry about it if it won't let you cast. So what you do is you just try it over here, right?
I did. I'm getting a syntax error, so I just trying to.
Oh, so you can't load it at all. So where's the syntax error coming from? Can you shrink this up? It's all kind of super zoomed in. Hit
Well, it's
control.
right.
This is not sure.
Control
I had
minus.
the place right.
Whatever result is in the print line.
It's right here where I put this.
Gotta get to work and read it. There we go. Where you put what in. So the first thing you want to do is get rid of the syntax error long enough that you can actually get back to where you can examine the program.
I can take out exactly what I put in.
Well, no, just
I'm trying to list
comment
that
out line.
thing.
Just comment out line 26 for a moment. So just make a comment. Just hashtag.
No, I don't need to. I know exactly what the problem is. It's that, because I just put it in.
I see that that's the problem, right?
One thing that I don't understand is I want to figure out how to print off this thing.
When do you print off?
The one, the name of the weapon is that, right? So I wanted to say that.
Right, so here's what, just please, let me help you. Okay? Just for a moment, do that. Because I need it to load into the interpreter so we can play with it. So now let's get the name of Bob's weapon. So do Bob weapon.
That's what I just tried to do.
Let's do it over here and make sure that works. Bob weapon. Almost. Weapon is a key, so it's a string. Yeah. Weapon. There you go. That works? Let's do Bob weapon name.
But I'm not, this is what I'm unclear on. Like that?
And now we're going to discover why that works. It worked, right? So let's ask Python, what is Bob weapon? Do type Bob weapon. Round. Type is a function. Yep. And then the same Bob weapon that you did above. So square, string, weapon. Round. The weapon itself is a dictionary, right? So the first part of your statement goes and gets a dictionary. The second part of your statement gets the entry from that dictionary called name. Does that make sense? So Python will chain things from left to right.
Okay.
So it just interprets the first thing, gets back a thing, and says, can I do the next thing to this thing? And it just tries. Okay? Now the reason that your line's not working, I think, is because you can only add strings together. Right? So now your line, see between strings the and player one weapon? There's no plus sign telling you to concatenate the string. That's probably the problem.
That's it.
Probably. Those long lines are tough, because problems can hide in there in lots of places, right?
Well, I knew I only added one little word, so I knew it was
Right,
that little
you
word
forgot
that
to
I
do the
added.
operator, which is plus. Because the form is string plus string plus string plus string. Right. So you're being ambitious, okay. Zoom out a little. You're a little zoomed in there, so we'll have to see. That's better. Okay. So you're trying to add player 3 when what happens to player 2's on? Is that called player 1 and not? Sure, it is. But when does add get called? Like when can that condition arise? So I think it's a great idea. Well, I think it's gotta be maybe somewhere here. Right? But it's a function, so you could just call it. Right?
Could I go by add player 3 now?
You could. I think to keep it a little bit simpler, just to get started, let's do an experiment, okay? Let's say while it's not equal, let's have the guy substitute right here. I would try something like if player is out cold, what would you do? So if is out cold, it's actually is out cold.
Had a chance of lying to give him take out.
So you guys did, that's good.
That was a fun night.
Well, that's not fair. Just like we did. Yeah, you're good. Yeah, that's the principle. These are cold player 2.
Also, that was a good one.
Thank you. Let's say player 2 equals. This is very back in the game, like why does this happen? So.
I'm gonna more character because I want to have it like
Yeah.
random fighting arena to see talking about on top.
Now, I would just run that until player 2's out cold and see if Jack shows up. Like, why not, right? Be kind of interesting. It's a really good idea.
Still won't do it.
Won't do what?
I just can't get it to print the name of the weapon
The name of the weapon, where? Where are you attempting that?
right here. I tried to add name because just weapon didn't work.
Well, so I think what makes it hardest for me is your line is so long, right? You really can't see it unless you do that, right? Now, once I do that, I notice that there appears to be a stray set of round parens here that just don't belong. That's the name of player 1's weapon. Okay. I respect that. Give it a shot. We have to just slide this back a little bit, that's all. Just say, I made it too narrow. Yeah, naturally. Well, looks like it's working to me. I don't know if it's right, but it definitely was written. All right, who has either a question or something that you can share? I'll take questions. What are you up to here?
So I'm trying to have the third player, trying to give them like 2 different options, like you can use a wand.
Can you put it?
Yeah. So you get like two different things.
That's good. That's so fun.
That could, a fireball could damage both the other 2.
You can
We're
totally,
gonna have a 3-person fight.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
you can totally
It's
do
gonna
that.
get pretty wacky.
You can absolutely do that.
One I'm trying to decide how to figure out how to code them to like make the decision, like maybe use his weapon first, because they have to. So the way that weapon could work is they have to make a check against like a D20 roll plus like a certain score.
I'm sorry.
So that's why I gave Bob and Joe wisdom bonus, so they can add that to their D20 roll, and if they fail it,
Okay,
they end up like on the floor laughing.
perfect, okay. So,
What's Ron's full name?
Robert roll? Yeah.
so does everyone need a wisdom bonus, even if it's 0, in order for the mechanics to work? It's okay, yes or no, but both are acceptable answers.
Ron doesn't necessarily, because
Fine.
it's for a spell.
So always code to the truth. If he doesn't need it, he doesn't need it. So you might agree. So now let's just head for the inner part of the problem. What's the inner part of the mechanic here? To choose a weapon, or to make a check, or what do you need to do?
Probably choose a weapon, whether it's weapon or spell first.
Okay, and on what basis would that choice be made?
If Bob and Joe's status is not laughing, use the one.
Okay, so we have to know if they're laughing. How are we gonna know if they're laughing?
We have to give them
Sad. What makes them laugh?
failing the check for the wand.
So maybe the innermost thing we need to code is the check.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So let's define a function that does the check. I don't know what a check is for sure. Just define check, and I think the check, do you need to know both players to define how the check works, or just one? Well, but you are both passing or failing a check because the third player is attacking, like what's happening?
Yeah, so he would use the wand to like do an area effect.
Got it, okay, so let's just do one at a time, because then we can move over them, that's all right. So let's just define check of a player,
Okay.
right? Go for it, you do it. Sure,
Okay.
good, a player, yeah, great, Colin. Now, how does the player either pass or fail a check?
The roll,
For what?
D20,
Sure, okay.
plus their wisdom bonus.
So, they roll, but then it has to exceed or be more or less than what?
Whatever the spell difficulty check is.
So I think that
I
when
need
you
to
call
set that
this,
to-
you better make it
Okay.
check player, comma, spell something, spell strength, spell, whatever the heck you call
Okay.
it. The number we need. So you can just magically require the little zillion number you need. We just check something out, right?
Okay.
Sure, yeah, perfect, close, colon, good, right? So, close, colon.
Yeah.
So now I have one more question. Does this effect last, or does it only last one turn? Okay, so this is just return true or false, right? So can you just tell me how you write that condition to return true or false?
If wisdom check per player
Yeah.
is less than or equal to
So you see.
solvency.
Good. Just start with the one line. Just say return. Right? The wisdom check is some roll of the dice plus the player's wisdom bonus, right? So how do we get that? We'll roll of what dice? D20?
D20.
How do you roll a D20?
Just roll.
Roll 20, yeah. Oops. You got the wrong button key. Roll 20 plus.
Does it go in the front? Or?
Roll, so if you don't know, go over here.
Yeah.
Type roll 20 and see what it does. Pretend I'm not here. You have to run, this will not find it.
Then you roll some time for it out.
I think you probably just want to run the vote.
Well, I'm just trying to
Just what
say
round
if
wants to
the
go in
result
and
is
do
true,
it.
but I don't know how to say it.
Oh,
I'm trying
yeah.
strings and I'm trying
Not
non-strings.
that
So,
bad.
Trying to figure out where in the code we did it somewhere else, I can't find it.
Yep, so in this case,
Yeah.
like.
Good, go back. Back to
Sorry,
code.
Stephen.
So if roll
There's a
20
line
plus,
there.
the
Yeah.
player's wisdom bonus, how
But
do you
anyway,
get that?
the problem we have is, I mean, just because
Yeah.
it's an obscure thing.
When you're doing comparing us to those.
That's a really good question. How do the other functions
So
handle
that's
that?
saying assign the
Good
value
idea.
just to.
Player name.
Okay, so now I might not need the string part.
Yeah, probably not. I would do
Player one is just
I
player
had
one, player two is just player two.
not
It's the scope of the function, right? So inside your function,
This one is just
player, yeah. So if you want the player's wisdom bonus, it's player, square brace, yeah, you got it.
Really?
Now, we're doing some, we'll see a little problem with that in a second, that's fine. So if this plus, you want to return, this plus this is, you pass if this is greater than or equal to spell BC.
Yeah.
So just say greater than or equal to spell BC. So again, in the spirit of how we do things, just try it, just hit run once. And just try to do a wisdom check on Bob. Why not? Just whiz check Bob. Yeah, tell me a spell, right? You gotta give it a spell BC too, Bob, comma, something.
Oh, right.
You could actually type in Ron's spell BC there, and just put a number in. Sure, great, good. Almost worked, right? It says that wisdom bonus there's no key called that.
Yeah, it just doesn't,
Wisdom bonus.
I don't know what the results, I don't know how to, I don't know what they are.
Oh, yeah.
So we're gonna fix that.
Because he said, well, I was just trying to figure out how
Now
to,
you gotta run
because then it
You know.
said, write the string
Running
of
it loads
result,
it into the
and then it
setting.
prints true.
Not
So I
yet.
figured that's what it was, so I put true,
Whiz
but
check.
it's not working because it's going to else every single time, so it's not,
18.
true is not what it
Almost
is.
worked. What did you call the key when you created that line 18? What is it really? Exactly. There you go. Load it again. You sound like I predict it will work. I'm not always right.
Were there any falses?
And I'm really happy
Yeah, false
because you
goes
just
bang
went
in
through
and
all the
true.
steps for
It's
yourself.
just not reading, it's never reading it.
That right hand window is your friend, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Good, good.
Take out the quotes. So,
Okay. You can try enough times
That's
to talk
string
tail if you put some
true.
crazy spell to see.
but
Yeah.
true with a capital
Yeah,
T
I
is
tried
like a.
string,
Make the spell to see, 100.
Nice. Should be true. Although I'm not sure she would approve about.
Looks good to me,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
You can now incorporate that into the
Yeah, that's right.
Well,
yes, more work.
So if Ron
So she
doesn't
really
have
doesn't
wisdom
want
bonus,
the,
that'll like hypothetically experience.
I don't know, that's pretty cool.
Try
What
it.
would she want?
I'm sorry, ask me.
What number?
Try Ron. We check
Oh, put
Ron.
Ron in this?
Yeah, send it back to me.
Choices, conic section.
Michael, I made the game.
Choices, the conic section. Actually, that's, she didn't teach geometry. She teach.
All right,
Does
Well,
conversations at pre-calculus.
Does
you
she?
get onto the screen left and then wait a second, we'll definitely want to see that.
Is there an easy way to have it take two random
Because
numbers
there's
that are
no-
the same, or do I just have to
Okay.
So you have to set like his
pick a random number,
wisdom
make sure they're not the
bonus
same if they're the same thing?
You
pick a
could.
random number?
Just do.
Or just not
What do you
even
mean?
worry
No, I
about
don't
The
want
only
them to
reason
be
I
the
set
same.
it for Joe and Bob is because imagine they're just like fighters.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and Ron is like spellcaster and he's not fighting against other spellcasters.
But to answer the question that I can hear, Emily thinking to herself, of course there's a way to see whether the key is there before you use it, right?
Mhm.
So try typing Ron's.keys for me. Ron's dictionary. Enter. There are the keys. Now if you were to type the string HP, so apostrophe HP in Ron.keys again.
In all one word?
No, HP, honestly, is that string, HP,
Yeah.
good, well, yeah, space. Is it in the list, in space, Ron.keys? I just want to see if this is true or false. Sorry, Ron.keys is a function that needs this.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to examine whether that string is in that list.
Okay.
True. Now, of course, if you whiz check it Ron.keys and say false. So you can write the code and say, look, if the guy doesn't have a wisdom
No, I
check,
wanna say
do something else.
Mhm.
Is that what you're thinking? Okay. What were you asking? Yeah, I didn't answer.
I was trying to do like,
Yeah.
pick two random numbers that aren't the same.
Okay.
I just have to like run a conditional to make sure they're not the same and then pick another random.
Yeah, if you want them to both be random and to be not the same, yeah.
Okay.
Or you could certainly make a separate roll function that does that. that takes two parameters.
Well, this was just because essentially I'm making an arena thing right now, so you can put on all the fighters and it just picks two random fighters to go up against each other.
Okay.
So like I have them in a list right now, and I don't want to pick the same fighters.
Just pop them at random. Just pop them off the list.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, so if you pop a random person off the list and then pop another random person off, the first person will be gone.
Oh, got it. Interesting.
Right?
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
smart.
yeah. You use Ilya's favorite data structure, get you out of the problem, right? Okay. Ilya, what did you do?
I just like replaced all the stuff with the random stuff.
Yeah? Is it right? How does it work?
He puts, oh my gosh.
Okay.
So good.
So like whatever I could find that was assigned to a number, I just replaced with random.randint and one to some crazy number.
So good, right? Does it ever get through more than one turn?
I don't know.
Try it. It'll make a fight.
Wait, so if you do random.randint 1 to 900, does it go from 0 to 8?
Oh. Yeah, it's
Or
I would try it.
okay.
I
Maybe
think
through that
the
one.
old-fashioned randint is inclusive on both sides. I think. But NumPy one is left side. The NumPy one does what you think it's going to do with 0.
Got it.
The old one, I think, does the inclusion on both sides. I think.
Actually make it go around.
So now here's what I want you to do, Ellie. I want you to make it random, but when you do fight, don't you do damage, do fight. Right? When you do fight, I want it to be not so random that the fight actually takes place, okay? Maybe it goes on for a very long time, that's okay. Did you have a question?
Yeah, I do.
What's going on?
Yeah, let me try casting it.
Yeah, go ahead, you can have, left,
Left.
sure.
I think I broke fight.
Okay, you better either fix fight or go back to my slide and copy it. Okay, what's going on?
So I wanted to do something really simple. So I wanted to have a DM voice, and I wanted to run through an array of options, like the fight starts this way, or introducing player 1 or something. So
Okay.
I created a dictionary, and I just added test 1, test 2, test 3, which works when I do DM start. Where is it? Where's my function? Yeah, DM start, which is right here. So when I do DM start, it returns it. I'm sorry.
That's okay. You know how to do it.
So it returns it, but I don't know how to isolate the element.
We'd like to select one at random.
Yes.
Okay, okay. So first of all, it appears to be, it looks like a dictionary, but it's not really a dictionary because it doesn't have keys, right?
Yeah, it's an array.
Yeah, we're actually, I think we think of it as a set.
Okay.
That's okay though, there's nothing wrong with a set. If you were to do DM start of square brace 0, would it give you the first element?
DM start.
Then square brace 0.
Like this?
Yeah, put a 0 in there as an index. Yeah, try that. Okay, not quite what we're looking for. So let's go back to where we created DM start, test 1, test 2, test 3.
Yeah.
Just make it simple, right? Let's make that a list. So let's make that squiggly thing a square.
That's the squiggly thing of what?
Square brace.
That's square brace.
Yeah, if you think all the way back to the first week, which is a long time ago,
Yeah.
this is how you construct a list. Go ahead and run it again. Right?
That's what it was.
Well, that's the first part, almost there. Now let's do DMs, yeah. Python tries off the chart. It made a set for you. You may now be aware that it had sets, right? So now you do DM start of square brace 0. And now that it's a list, I think it's going to work. You got to put a 0 in there. Good? Sure.
That's what I wanted.
Now, if you don't mind, you DM start of, run the function, and then in the square brace, put random.randint 1, 3, or 0, 0.2.
Okay. I could just do dice or just roll n. Right?
Yes, you could. Try that. Roll. Put a 3 in there. That's going to work 2 times out of 3.
What's a 3-sided die look like?
It's like an escher. So now work that time. It will not always work. So my question for you is, and it's a very obscure question, why will that not always work? Keep trying.
Because run it before, because it's the way list starts with 0.
Correct. Absolutely. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So the expedient thing to do, which Emily and I were talking about before class, but let's keep rolling until it fails. It should actually fail.
There it is.
Yeah. You could do roll of 3 minus 1. A little cheesy, works.
Yeah.
Right? Or you could do random randint of 0, 2. In one of those.
I got this. Oh wait, hold on. I think I actually know what I did. I think I should have made. Hold on. I think it's because I forgot to pass in values to the function.
That will prevent it from working.
It just said function arena at 0x7f2b.
You know, just like my whole crew at work.
Yeah.
All we do is say, oh wait, I need help, and then when we say what we're saying, we're like, oh wait. Actually, you're mentioning that.
It's like when someone says something and I go, what? And then realize what they said before they were saying it again.
Right.
Oh, here we go.
How are we doing?
I'm making you a fight right now.
Okay.
Good.
Dr. Starburns.
I was just trying to understand what each phase is what I was trying to do, not change it. Until they move it.
If that's helping, that's great.
And we got Bob the
You know,
Boulder and
where
Matt
would you
inside.
Sure.
Is there like a comment of the block?
Sure. Yes.
How do you do
Three
that?
apostrophes.
Cause I like wanna try something.
Yeah.
Boulder Mac is
Could you screen up a second? Can you do that?
Yeah, but my email's open, hold on.
Oh, then do that.
My name's Joe.
Okay. So exciting. No devices found.
You know, we get that sometimes. Danny's computer does that too. I don't know why. It's okay. It's not a big deal. Come over there.
I can run it, don't worry.
You know, if I tell you it comes and goes, it kind of does.
Maybe you said 3.
Oh yeah, apostrophe, apostrophe, and then go down, yeah, and then go down to where you want the block comment to end. Anyway, there you go.
All right, so then that.
Yep, that's gone.
Okay.
Okay, guys, we're gonna hold up here for a second, unless someone has a question. We're just about out of time. Okay, so here's the last thing I want to mention before we wrap it up. Right? First of all, you've been really patient with me, and I appreciate that. Introducing a language isn't the easiest thing to do when you have a limited amount of time, okay? So the approach that we've taken is really what I think of as kind of the high road, but it's really difficult because I wanted to make you aware of things that Python can do or be aware of things that you can do using Python, right? And that meant taking a really expansive view and doing some, you know, kind of crazy things that you wouldn't encounter if we took the other approach and did everything step by step, which is equally valid. It's a good way to learn a language, right? But when we only have 4 sessions that are barely over an hour each, I would never get to the point of showing you what I think is the whole wide world of possibilities using the language. So that was kind of my goal. So if you come away from this feeling like, you know, a lot of that kind of made a little sense, but I really couldn't do it again right now if I had to, that's totally fine. Right? That actually is what I would expect if you're being introduced to this for the first time, okay? But everybody's come a long way. What I want to encourage you to do if you want to continue is just keep showing up in the Discord. We've got people that have been in that Discord for 3 or 4 years, right? And I think of the things they used to work on, and I think of the things they do now, and I'm amazed. Okay, so we've had some interns that have been around for a while. And we started with, you know, why the heck won't this print? And now some of them are graduating from college and looking for jobs, doing wild and wonderful things. And they publish on Medium. You can go look. I'll post them for you. Okay? So, you know, you can always blink in, right? The lab it's open every day for any of you who are in school, right? And, you know, people come and go. It's better to ping on the Discord first, just make sure we're here, right? But kids build things, kids work on things. Occasionally kids do homework, right? You're welcome here, okay? Does anybody have any questions that I can answer now? Okay. We're going to do some 6-week courses, which are all you're encouraged to join if you care to. I'm going to teach machine learning, which is
I've heard of that. I've
good.
heard that is how artificial intelligence works.
It is how artificial intelligence works. Since you said that, I'm going to give you the 10-second rundown on where that resides, okay? So artificial intelligence is like a giant universe, and then kind of half of the universe is machine learning. And then we're going to divide that into 3 pieces, okay? There's something called supervised learning or unsupervised learning. That's 2 of the 3 pieces. We don't do those things. That's when you show a computer pictures of cats, and eventually it learns to recognize a cat for itself. The 3rd thing is called reinforcement learning, and that's how you teach, a computer learns on its own to play games. Okay? So a computer that can figure out how to play Super Smash Brothers by itself, by trial and error. So we think that's a lot of fun. It's a vibrant topic. We spend all of our time there. So artificial intelligence, machine learning, reinforcement learning, and then we do one special algorithm called Q-learning, and we write a program that learns how to play tic-tac-toe on its own. Okay, that's our goal. Takes us about 6 weeks. It's pretty challenging, but if you just put the time into it while you're here and get with the flow of it, I think you learn something. Doesn't matter if you could then sit down and write it out for yourself. Like, that doesn't come in one go. Okay, but you're all really welcome. And then Jeff's going to teach a course. Do you want to mention it?
Yeah, sure. Allow you to conceive of your own robot and build it. So it's a little bit of 3D modeling and 3D fabrication, a little bit of electronics, working with like a Raspberry Pi, and then a little bit of code, right? So those same concepts were what we used to build this little guy right here. We call him Bob. Not the same Bob we were just fighting with.
Bob Boulder with no U.
Yeah. So this is a little tiny wheeled robot, right? And we can control this. It's got a Raspberry Pi on board, so we can talk to it over the wireless network. And we're doing some stuff right now with this where we're using a camera to track its movements. And so this is sort of the intersection between the class that I'm teaching and the class that Mike was teaching. Because when you put those two things together, you can have little robots that run around and learn how to do things, right?
Yes.
So anyway, yeah. So it's robot design and fabrication kind of centered around the set of skills you need to conceive and build your own robot.
So for anybody who's a parent or a teacher, if there's a student that you're aware of that wants to know we're here, just encourage the student to contact us. Okay? And that's it. Thank you very much for joining us. Okay? I will see you on the Discord. Yes? Yeah? Yeah. Right. You're welcome. Thank you.
Battle to the death arena.
Oh, throw it up there.
Will you like mine?
Really?
Yeah.
Alright. Oh wow, this is almost black and white and very small. I don't know what's happening right now, but.
Hector Starnes.
Yeah, that was my guy.
Go ahead.
Yeah, let me rerun it. So arena fighters.
Oh, nice. It's part of the list.
Yeah.
Go. So Bob fought Hector, and then did the winner stay in, or what happened?
Yeah, so where is it? Hector Starburns has vanquished Bob the Boulder. Magnus Burnside then fights Bob the Boulder.
Is that in Bob's diminished condition, or does Bob get?
No, Bob gets re-healed.
Oh, perfect. Good. Nice. Okay. Cool.
And then Hector Starburns beats Bob the Boulder. Then Magnus and Hector go at it.
That's phenomenal.
Magnus Burnside has vanquished Hector Starburns. Then Magnus and Joe go at it. And then Magnus is beaten.
Right.
Joe the Bold. Magnus is proven victorious.
That is, so you're not allowed to leave until you take the share link and put it in the Discord so people can see it. That's great work. In the very few minutes that you have.
Is there a timer class or a count class that he can throw in where it stalls for a second before it runs the next line?
You import time, and then you do time.sleep, and you get the number of seconds, and it will pause.
And then run the code after.
Yep, it'll just start.
So take the
Yeah,
share.
for dramatic effect.
For dramatic.
Exactly.
Should I put it in Python server code?
Yes, please. Good work. All right, good. Good.
So Will, in every round on mine, it rolls a d20, and on a 17 or higher, a passing cleric stops by and
That's fantastic.
heals anybody who's under points.
That's
So wait, you did the arena to the death, and you did the kinder and gentler version of that's good.
I think that matches up. I think that's awesome.
But there's some funny
Well,
cases.
yeah, it's age, when you're.
Yeah. So like, what if the cleric walks by but nobody's under 5 hit points, right? Then nobody needs it, so it keeps going. And if one of them is under 5, then he heals 1. But if both are under 5, he heals 2.
That's fantastic.
That is too funny. All right, guys.
Thanks.
I'm glad you joined us.
Yeah, this is kind of
You guys were later on.
Could the cleric have a random bias?
question.
Fork my code.
What?
Fork my
What's
code.
the
You
age
can do it.
range for the robotics class? 'Cause I'm just thinking of myself.
That's an interesting question. What is a reasonable age range for the robot?
Well, so we usually say high school age. But,
He's definitely not.
Occasionally.
yeah,
I
we
got
have
a few
some
options.
Yeah, we have some edge cases, but,
How old is it?
He's 10, but I'm not sure he's ready. I was just curious, that's all.
You know,
The earlier I expose him, the better.
I think that's absolutely true. So a couple things, does the school have a Lego robots thing on?
I don't know if it does, so if Marsh would, I can check into it.
You might want to ask, if a group of kids wanted to spend time here in the afternoons, like piecing together a Lego robot, I think we have enough oversight that they could stumble through that and have together. So those are the kinds of things that we can accommodate. If they were younger, we might need a fund present.
Okay.
If they're high school kids, we're like, guys, bring the robot. Which we just did with the high school, so the place where the robotics was being done in Portsmouth shut down.
I see.
And so we're on with the superintendent today saying, hey, the lab's here for you.
Yeah.
Please make use of it. Right, the younger kids, we need a little help with supervision. But the kinds of projects they get their hands on, we're with that edge.
What's the point of the robots enforcement?
What happened?
What is it?
New Heights,
Oh, they shut
which was here for over 30 years, is no longer able to offer service. So they shut down, so we got, you know, and we'll probably have the robot team. Won't be our project. Right, well, no, what we're gonna do, we're not gonna participate in players. We're just gonna move the chairs and the tables. and say,
I used to
guys,
do that.
yours, yeah.
Okay,
Question,
you
Michael.
want to stream?
We're going to find out more info on